Oh, I like this comment. I may have to sing.
No.
Get it. Hi, Allie. Okay. Let's back up. Back. Easy. Hi, Laura. Right there. Whoa. Oh no. You got Mr. Hank there somewhere, Jamie?
He's up top.
He's up top. Courtney? We'll get there, Courtney. There he is, Courtney. Hey, Sherry. Aaron. Cheryl, you made it on time, sweet lady. You made it on time. Hi, Joni. And hi to hello, everybody. Hello there, Jamie Cakes.
Hey, y'all.
How's it going at the JL South?
It's been busy. I literally just came inside about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Since 3 o'clock. So it's been quite the afternoon here.
Tell me about it.
No, it's winter prep time. The storm is a coming, and it is a coming, and I wanted to be able to triple check everything and make sure that animals were getting comfortable. I put some extra blankets on because we are in for it after this. And as I understand, like much of the country, including the Houston area, are expecting to, make history this week, and not in the way that any of us probably wanted to make history.
Hey, Marcia.
How was your afternoon?
I
said, how was your afternoon?
Oh, man, typical afternoon. I'm sorry if you notice me keep turning my head towards my left. I think that you probably know why. And I bet that, don't say it yet, Jamie. I wonder how many people know me well enough to know why I keep turning my head towards the left. Oh. Why would I be doing this Spanish dancing right now, Jamie? Why would I be dancing?
You always do random dances and songs. People are not surprised or shocked by this.
Well, Lisa Wilson says, Bills, boy. Yeah, boys.
No, she said Bills ball.
The Bills just recovered a fumble from what it looks like. Oh yes, that's a fumble recovery. So I think I upset some people a little bit earlier. Yeah, I went live. And what I said on my live, guys, I'm so sorry. I do love football, but Jamie can vouch for this. I don't watch every game the way I used to. Jamie knows in the old days, I would watch every game. If it was on TV, I'm watching it. But now I've kind of gotten down to where I keep up with football, but I really only watch my favorite teams or my favorite players. Is that a true statement? Jamie.
And even though that you may want to watch it, we don't always get to. So like yesterday we were running errands and trying to accomplish so many things. I wasn't watching the actual game. I had the score pulled up on Google and it was just telling me the stats and play-by-play. So I was telling Lester, I'm like, we're first and third. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying whenever I'm reading off the screen, but sometimes you don't get to watch.
No, but I appreciate that because we were actually driving and you were helping me with the Texan score. Now that's my Texan team, and you all know how much I love our local teams. That was the Texans. Yes, Teresa, go Bills. And then the thing is, I was driving, so I couldn't be there to watch the actual game on TV or whatever. So I says, Jamie, what's the score? What quarter is it? And I've been doing this for so long that in my mind, I can visualize. Jamie's like, it's 3rd and 16 from the Chiefs 44. And I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm seeing it. I'm like, what happened now? So she has to refresh her phone. Now it's 4th and 4 from. I'm like, God, I got to punt it. Anyway, so I
could have driven except for we were pulling the big trailer, and I'm comfortable pulling trailers, but the big trailer is a little bit intimidating to me still.
It's called the gooseneck, and no, you're not. Sorry, I love you and all, but I'm not. You're not allowed to pull the gooseneck. You're not there yet, sweetie. I know you probably could.
Accepted. Okay.
On a straightaway. Well, funny story is I did not bring the gooseneck or the big truck tonight. I brought the farm truck, and I had to send a text. I says, hey, don't try to drive that truck anywhere. The keys are in it, but I have the trailer hooked onto it. Do not go anywhere in that truck. And so now I'm panicked that you're going to on purpose just try to drive the truck.
I'm not going to drive that. First of all, I don't even like to drive Lester's truck because it has hips and it is hard to park and giant, and it is a rough ride. I love my car. So I will use my car at all costs. And then if it has to be a truck, I actually prefer the old truck more so. So I believe in a have to situation that I could drive this trailer? Yes, I do. Do I believe that I could back it up? No, never. So forward only, and it is extra long and extra scary. So I would just prefer to not have to cross that bridge.
Well, remind people that you actually did drive the farm truck and the horse trailer.
Oh, yeah. I'm comfortable pulling trailers, but I don't know how long this thing is, but it's basically like you're pulling a bus, and it's big and it's already in the big truck. And it's just, I don't have a desire to do that. Like I said,
you may have to explain yourself when you say the truck has hips.
It's a dually. It has two back 4 back wheels, and it's extra wide. And I have nothing against hips. Personally, I own a pair. But I don't like to park it in tiny little places.
Yeah. Someone says it has a nice back end. It does have a nice back end. We have nothing against nice back ends either. But no.
I can't squeeze your leg. You're not even here. And I can't squeeze your leg. You're not here. I can't make you stop.
No, you can't. You're at my mercy. In saying so, earlier today, I did go live talking about some winter prep stuff. I had not been live all day, and that's just really hard on me. So I did go live talking about winter prep and some things that I had done over here. And in that, I talked a little bit about the fact that the Texans lost to the Chiefs yesterday, which that happens. The Chiefs are a really good football team. We all know that. But I elaborated a little bit more. I says that my personal opinion, and it's just my personal opinion, is that I think that America is about tired of the Chiefs. I think that the whole Swifty thing and the Kelseys and the Andy Reid and the Mahomes, and I just feel like that America in general is kind of getting tired of that repeat story every year. And then I added that sometimes the refs have shown a little favoritism here and there. Oh boy, did I open a can of whoop ass on me. I got some people who were not very happy with me, and they are letting me hear about it. And I'm afraid that those same people are probably going to start screaming and hollering in the comments also. But here's the thing, and this is what I'm going to say, and this is what people don't sometimes understand. When you're right in the middle of something, so if you're a Kansas City fan, you probably have no idea the way the rest of the world sees or perceives certain folks. So when you are right in the middle of something, you don't always see the way the rest of the world perceives it. You see what I'm saying? Because you're caught up in it. You're living on the high. You're living large, and you don't see the way the rest of the world perceives things. And all I'm trying to say, with no offense to Kansas City, the city, or Missouri, or Kansas City, Missouri, right?
It's right on the border. So half is in Kansas and half is in Missouri.
Yeah, no offense to either of those sides of the river, none whatsoever. But I just think that for the sake of the NFL, let's just say the sake of the NFL, I think that America is ready to see somebody else in the Super Bowl. And I think that we're tired of that same song and dance that we're getting year in and year out, year in and year out. And I know that I'm not alone in that. You have no idea, do you?
I'm reading comments the whole time that you're talking and rambling on here about this. Like, I get it, because I get it. Nobody wants to see the same. I mean, everybody likes a chance, I guess, is where it's at. And I get it. But I also I'm not football-y. I'm so sorry. Like, I got excited tonight because I figured out my pellet stove in the greenhouse, and that was my big win. And you're watching the Bills and cheering them on, and I'm out here cheering myself on. Sorry.
You got a video to show anybody of that?
Only the one that I sent you. I didn't make a video.
You mind if I show everybody?
I don't care.
That was pretty entertaining. And then you can tell us a little bit about what's going on if you want to.
I told people a few weeks ago that whenever we had the last freeze that I ordered a pellet stove, and then I ended up, it was so big, and I was like, oh, I should have bought the small one. So I ended up buying the small one, and I wanted something to be able to heat my greenhouse that didn't require a lot of electric, because I have one outlet out there, and it's above the ceiling, basically. Like, it's above the door for a fan.
Yeah.
And a regular heater doesn't actually heat that thing because it's too big, and I just needed a source. So I bought that and ended up not using it because we didn't get as cold as what I anticipated. And I haven't been brave enough to actually do it.
Go ahead.
I'm listening. Tonight. And go ahead.
No, so for people who don't know exactly what this over here is.
That's the one in the shop, babe. That's the wrong one.
Okay, but can you talk a little bit about it, though?
Yeah. So this is the big one that I ordered that I didn't know it was going to be so big. It's actually made for a whole house. So we put it out in the shop, and it burns soft wood pellets, basically. Why am I echoing, babe?
You're not echoing. That you probably.
Okay. So it burns soft wood pellets that you buy, and they're the ones, I think I got them on sale. A 50-pound bag was $3.42 a bag, and that 50-pound bag typically lasts 24 hours in a stove like this that you would heat your whole house with. And it's pretty awesome because you don't do anything but plug it in, and the plug-in is for the fan and the igniter. The fuel that it actually burns are these little pellets.
Okay.
Now, this one is technically a patio heater. We have those propane patio heaters that we used when we had my work party here, and for when we had puppies and other things here. And the propane is a lot more expensive, and it goes through a whole lot. This one is a tiny little just pellet stove, and the whole thing heats up, so it disperses heat almost like in a radiant way instead of just out the top like the propane heater does. So that whole entire thing heats up. And current state, it is 32 degrees outside, and my greenhouse is 55.
So it's a 25-degree temperature difference from inside to outside. And so it can't get so hot that it can melt the greenhouse or anything, right?
No, so it is at the center of the greenhouse. I put it to the side of the beam, but it needs a 36-inch clearance above it, and that's it. So it has about a 5-foot clearance, and of course, plenty of space all around it. You can see there's only concrete on the floor right there, and all the plants are pulled to the side.
How much you want to bet you're going to have a greenhouse full of cats if you walk out and check on it later?
I do have a greenhouse full of cats. All the cats are in there and are all nestled up on the bench, which is probably still a little bit further away than they'd like to be. If I put some beds out there, they would snuggle up.
Oh, you probably should. And
I know.
let Fiona go in there as well. She probably won't stay.
So this one, I'm not sponsored by this or anything like this. This came from Tractor Supply, and it was about $180 for this heater. It was pretty awesome. Like, you can use it on, it's meant for like a patio heater is what it's meant for. But the square thing on top is just it's a hood to make the heat not go straight up. It makes it disperse a little bit sideways. So it's really cool because that whole stack is warm. I mean, yes, if you have kids, you don't want them to touch it, but it's pretty awesome that it's able to hopefully sustain some heat in my greenhouse and keep everything alive. But it would be neat, like in a barn. In reality, in a barn, it could work in a barn if you had a space, cornered off. You don't want any animals to touch it or anything like that. And it's not a carbon monoxide danger because it's wood. And my greenhouse is vented. It is not meant, this one is not meant for inside a house, for the record.
Yeah, talk about the fact that there is a vent. There is a vent.
On the other one that Lester had, that's for the whole house, there is a vent pipe that you buy that separate that you put outside. But that one has a vent pipe that should be outside. I started this because I wanted to learn how it worked, and I just kept the garage doors open whenever it did it. And that one doesn't have. This one has just the smoke is so minimal, like so minimal. It's not like whenever you have a fire in a house. It was really cool, like really neat. A lot of people have those pellet grills. It's the same exact pellets.
Well, it's pretty awesome. I can't wait to see it. And I'm sorry I'm not able to be there, but
that's okay. Awesome. Charlie says that they have a pellet wood burner and it heats their 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. I'm not kidding. It is amazing. If I close those shop doors and we get the pipe put up the right way, it will heat our whole shop. I imagine if we put it close to close to the door, that it would also heat this house.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long the bag of pellets will last and if it's efficient enough to use that instead of a fireplace.
So it says that the big one that I have will go through, it depends, like on high, would go through 40 to 50 pounds in 24 hours. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
This little one only holds about a quarter of a bag, and it says that should last 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
So overnight for the greenhouse is all I need it to do today. But I will probably keep it going to it because we have not warm air for the next several days, and I want to keep the temperature up in the greenhouse. It was really neat things.
I'll go ahead and remove that. Why don't you talk about our temperatures and how cold it's going to get here? And then at this point, it's not really even a possibility. They're saying it's going to snow. We're going to get snow, 4 to 6 inches of snow. So
schools are closed already. Some closed tomorrow already for the Martin Luther King holiday, but if they weren't, they closed because of the impending weather and the temperatures. And Tuesday and Wednesday, we're supposed to get 4 to 6 inches of snow plus ice. Wednesday, very unlikely that it will actually go above freezing, and our low is 13, I think it is now. So it's very unlikely that precipitation is going to go anywhere until about Thursday, which is very treacherous and scary for this area. I know that other parts of the country, like currently back in Illinois where I'm from, it's like 2. But y'all have infrastructure and plows and salt trucks and all the furnaces to be able to handle that. Most homes here do not have furnaces at all. You have space heaters, and the electric grid gets just like super overrun. And 4 to 6 inches of snow that actually sticks is historic. Absolutely historic.
Hey, Jamie,
snow at all is historic.
FYI, just for anyone that cares to know, the Bills are up by 8 points, and there's like 3 minutes left in the game. So it's the Ravens' ball. If they do drive down and score, they can go for a 2-point conversion to try to tie it up. But as of right now, the Bills are up by 8 points with about 3 minutes left in the game. Just letting everyone know. Not that anyone else cares.
So I tried to blanket Roman this weekend and it was not successful. I also tried to blanket Dinky Daryl and was unsuccessful. I also tried to blanket Donkey Dan. I was successful for roughly 37 seconds and I got the front clasps done. And then he felt and heard the jingle of the straps on the other side and was not on board. My hopes and dreams are that it gets cold enough for both of them, both the donkeys and for Roman. Not that I want it to get cold, but that they allow us to do what we've been trying to do. No matter what blankets we have on, it's not going to cover every inch of their bodies. So this is a very dangerous storm for animals outside. So we have to feed them extra. We have to be able to make sure their water is available. Animals don't like to drink the cold water, so we have to find ways to heat that water up. We also have to add more salt to their diets so that way they are forced to drink water, because dehydration and colic is very real during times like this. So there's a lot more ahead of us this week than just keeping the pipes from freezing, basically.
Right. I was trying to show a picture that I can't, but I will just let everybody see it over here. It's the cutest thing you've probably seen all day long. A picture that you sent me. Talk a little bit about that beautiful young lady right there.
So that's our Beverly. I posted online and I was like, who can guess who this is? And some people thought it was Dinky. Some people thought it was Imogene. Some people thought it was Bev. And that is indeed Beverly. And she outgrew the last blanket that we had. So she got a new one.
I said that she looks like a first responder.
Yeah, she's wearing a high vis blanket. But tonight is 24-ish, I think is the expectation. I don't believe that their blankets will come off of them until at least Thursday. I do have additional layers that we can put on everyone, except Voodoo and Prim will not need a second layer. Their coats are thick. Like they are the thickest that they make, and they will not need another layer. Everybody else has thick coats, but not nearly as like they're wearing like bed comforters is what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And everybody's are waterproof. So that's great news. But if we see they're cold and animals will shiver, then we can always add another blanket. And in the worst case scenario, I can take that heater out of my greenhouse, sacrifice the plants, put everybody in stalls, and put that sucker in the middle of the barn as well. So I don't anticipate having to do that because there should be sunshine and we have enough, feed and hay that feeding them extras during that time also heats up their bodies.
Yeah.
So I don't anticipate that we're going to have to go to that caliber, but just know that the horses here, they haven't had the time to grow the thick coats that animals do, like let's just say in Minnesota, because just remember earlier this week, we were at 80 degrees during the day. So it's very challenging for animals' bodies to regulate according to these really wild sporadic temperatures.
Yeah, no, it's true. And like you said about Roman, you can vouch for this. We're going to try really, really hard to get his blanket on him tomorrow. But if we can't, I think that he'll be fine. I recorded a really cute video today. It was actually during my live. And when I first started, Rita was actually laying. She had snuggled herself down into the hay.
Aww.
And just really showing us. I think that she was doing it to show us that, you know what, guys, we're fine. Look at me. I'm a horse. And look what I can do. And she buried herself down into that loose hay that you had loosened up.
I was just going to say, we may want, if she's doing that, we may want to loosen up one more for Roman out there.
Well, we do have two loose. Maybe we could, and maybe I should. I don't know. But the cows have all their hay been loosened up, and now the horses have those two on the ends. But it was really cute seeing her just bury herself down. And at that point, it was, I don't know what, maybe 33, 34. It wasn't even that cold yet. But she was just showing us that even with her blanket, she can still get herself nice and cozy. And I think that Roman will be fine. But let's try tomorrow to get that blanket on him and see what happens.
Now, Rita has another blanket there as well. So Rita has a double layer available to her. Don't forget, Roman has thicker hair than the rest of the horses do as well. So
he reminds me of a woolly mammoth.
He has very woolly hair. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter how woolly it is when it gets down to 15 degrees. He's still going to be chilly. It would be great to be able to get a blanket on him. But when he's cold, he'll also be able to lay down in that hay that we've broken up. And, I mean, we're going to take every precaution possible with y'all and set alarms and feed in the middle of the nights. Like, the windbreak is important. So that's the other part is moving Roman and Rita into the red barn on those super cold nights will be really important, and giving them a way to be able to out of that wind, because the wind here is going Monday afternoon through Tuesday. It's going to be insanely windy. So there's just there's a lot of strategy, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of trial and error right on top of it all as well. And each animal is going to respond differently. All of the littles here, we ordered a load of hay, which got delivered from Tractor Supply, which is like the greatest invention on earth. And got, 4 foot high of fluffed up hay in every loafing shed for them to snuggle down in and bed down in.
We moved all of the red feeders out. So every one of our littles have a chance to go in and snuggle up. There's plenty of loafing sheds to choose from. And I told Jamie today before I left, I made sure that I thought it was really fun. I went ahead and I walked around the property and I filmed every angle and every perspective, hoping that if we do get snow, because this will be the first time that we've seen snow at either of these two properties, the north or the south.
I did not get every angle yet, by the way. I only got 2 angles, and then
the sun went down. I took care of it. So no matter who videos it, obviously if it snows and I can't get out to get over there, you'll have to go out there and video and just make some really neat, take some great pictures and some videos. We can kind of show some befores and after, but it's going to be wonderful. And I'm actually excited about the snow. I know that you're not, but most of us who don't get a chance to experience things like snow, we're excited about the possibilities. I know the kids are loving the fact there's no school until Thursday. And of course, parents are probably saying, oh no, I got kids at home for 3 days. You know, tomorrow being Martin Luther King Day is a holiday anyway. And then Tuesday and Wednesday with our bad weather days, for us bad weather days. So there's going to be a lot of parents who are going to be just like, yeah, yearning to get those kids out of the house. But I feel bad because I know one of the funnest things that you and I ever had a chance to do was when it snowed. It's only snowed once since I've known you. And you and I took the side-by-side out. We got a piece of carpet and we had LE drive us around and pull us. You remember that and how fun that was, all across the pastures.
In like a 1/4 inch of snow. Like barely. It was like barely any snow whatsoever. It didn't matter. We went on a magic carpet ride all across Morrow Hill.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I'm nervous. I won't lie. I overplan, overthink, overprepare. It's who I am. I worry because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want anybody to go without. I worry about the power grid and being able to maintain heat and the well and just all the things that come in with this, and caring for so many animals. Like, you just have to think about every angle possible and do the best you can. Yeah. And when you have animals that are, I'll just use the term, not cooperative, you know what's best for them and you have the things to be able to care for them, but you can't make them allow you to care for them. And it's like, it's heartbreaking sometimes. So I know that Roman will be okay, but I so badly want him to allow us to do this for him. I also want Donkey Dan and Dinky to do it. Now, the only thing I will say is that Dinky Darrell looks like he is a puffball, because Dinky Darrell's hair is so thick. But Donkey Dan is an older gentleman and a little bit more frail, and he has a lot of PTSD. And I couldn't believe that he let me put the blanket on him and get it around his neck. And what freaked him out is when I went underneath his legs to be able to grab the straps. And I'm thinking, no. I'm even considering, Lester,
what?
Cutting off the straps. I'm considering
dangle on his neck.
Well, here's the thing. There's one thing in the back that I can put between his legs that'll allow it to stay on.
Does he allow you to do that?
I don't know yet. I didn't get that far.
Oh boy, I don't know what to tell you. Just be careful, please.
I will tell you that it warmed me up to chase him, to be able to get it off of him, because he was running like crazy, and then he would stop, and I would get up there close to him, and then all of a sudden it would make a noise and he would take off hauling again across the pasture. And
yeah.
But Beverly and Imogene were fully welcoming of blankets. They felt beautiful. And of course, Ivy has one. I have a second layer available for Ivy. She's going to need it. And if I have to lock people in stalls and put a heater out there, that is what we will do. And if I have to bring goats and alpacas and pigs into the dang shop, that's what I'll do. But
when are you going to talk about Ivy?
Tomorrow's video.
Okay, you got a video tomorrow where you'll be talking about Ivy and how she's coming along. Okay, because people are going to be asking about that. I'm sure they already are.
Today was a little bit of a roller coaster with Ivy that I haven't even told you about yet. So there's a video that'll come out tomorrow.
You're going to make me wait too.
Yeah.
Right. That's who we've become, y'all. That's who we've become.
I did notice something. You left both walkie-talkies here.
Yes, I know.
So if something happens and goes down, you're like the fish out of water over there all on your own, and I am like Morrow Central.
Well, I could just always have to ride Rita back to you, maybe. I could just ride Rita over. If the roads are closed, I'll just jump on Rita.
Rita would have to ride backwards.
We'll just walk her backwards all the way home. It was cute today. Mr. Rick, Think Like a Horse Rick, he went ahead and did a little bit of a focus during his Sunday live talking about Rita's ride and everything. And Rick gave me a C+. He graded me. I never asked for a grade, but he actually gave me the grade of a C+. And people don't realize that I'll take a C+ from Rick any day.
Yeah.
I didn't pay for that, y'all. I don't pay for Rick, but I really am blessed that he takes time to take a video and break it down, analyze it, and just like we do in talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, Rick will absolutely tell you if you're doing something wrong, he's going to tell you that you're doing it wrong. And he's going to tell you ways that you could make it better. And there were actually things in his video that he was, I'll just say, impressed with. And he even said that he's talked about some of these things in the past, and he knows that Lester's listening. And I love that because it's true.
Maybe I should start telling Rick to give my instructions so that way you continue to listen.
Gosh darn it. They just scored. Okay.
So
you talk for a minute.
So people are asking about the animals that don't have blankets and enclosures. Listen, you can't blanket a longhorn, and I can't blanket the neighbor's horses. One thing that Lester and I were talking about were the days of Plum Grove, when the donkeys used to go in the woods, and I would get so worried because they would not come out on cold nights. And what I realized is they would find the pockets of space that were warm and didn't have wind. What are you doing with my face right now?
I'm trying to put you bigger than me because I have to see this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So the donkeys would go and find their warm spot in the woods and not come out. And that's what animals will do. They will go find.
Golly gee.
They will go find their spots, and as a herd, huddle up together, and they will find a way to be able to get warm. Now, what Lester's done is put a very large amount of hay out and break up the bales so they can all nestle down in it.
Dropped it.
And the same thing for the neighbors' horses and cows. We put hay over there for them to be able to do that as well. I have no idea what that owner has plans of. I have no idea what all the owners in Texas have plans of, because most people don't have fancy, beautiful barns that are temperature controlled. This is farm life. This is a few days a year, maybe, and we do the best that we can with what we have.
The game's done. I'm not watching the game anymore. I was going to go back and see what people were saying about the Rick video. I always enjoy this. It's also kind of sad. The game's over, y'all. I mean, not officially over, but with a minute and 33 left, unless they get some kind of an onside kick, then Buffalo's going to win. So Vanda Roses, Rick doesn't know about thoroughbreds. Jamie, help me on this over here a little bit. Now, you and I have decided that we're not going to pluck all of the hair that we need to do a DNA test analysis on our horses.
So what's crazy is they don't even do what you think that they do anyway. They're not going to be like able to, it's not like a dog DNA kit that gives you like there's 20 breeds or 5 breeds and this is who they're connected to. There actually is no horse DNA test that does that anyway. But the horse DNA test that we have wanted me to rip out 40 strands of hair at the root from the same location. And I'm just not willing to do that. Not of their mane. It had to be mane hair. And I'm just not willing to take that much of a painful situation to find out very minimal things. And the minimal things that you find out are really like allergies and things that she's predisposed to. You don't actually find out like that they're thoroughbred or paint or shy or all. You don't find that out. You don't. It'll be like, here, we'll tell you the color. Well, no joke. We already know her color. Like, it's a very different process than dog or human. There's just not a place for it yet.
So the thing that I was going with, though, is that you and I have been blessed to have been, the owners of several rescue horses. And we've also have family members who are owners of rescue horses, some. And me growing up, have been blessed to have an uncle who had, I would say, dozens, plural, of horses growing up. And so Rita is very different than all of the horses that we've been around. And you and I both agree, based on the characteristics that she shows, not just physical, but even her character traits, her personality type. She's different than the rest, and she exhibits a whole lot of thoroughbred instead of quarter horse.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people have some kind of a huge issue with the fact of us saying that we have us a little thoroughbred here. And there was a whole lot of discussion about that, even arguing and fighting. And that makes me so happy that we have moderators on our channels, because there were people fighting in the comments in Mr. Rick's video. And I'm thinking, what's the fight about? I don't get the fight. What is it that I'm missing out on? Because if I was to say that we have an Arabian, or we have a Tennessee Walker, or we have a whatever, why is everyone so up in arms with the fact that we have us a thoroughbred in Rita?
I don't know. I just say we have a horse. Like, at the end of the day, she's just a horse. She's a wonderful horse. She's a horse, of course. No matter what, it's not going to change our love for her, how we treat her, how we care for her. Like, none of those things are going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything. I know. I'm not trying to say that it needs to change anything. It's just the fact that I think that what we're noticing about Rita, a lot of her characteristics are unique to thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
Which remind us that we are not going to be able to, I don't want to say swat or discipline, because I'm certain that that's probably the wrong word choice, but we have to let her be a thoroughbred. We have to let her be her kind of horse, the same way that we have different breeds of dogs. And we know that we have some dogs that are just like all over the place, like, let's just say Christmas, for example, compared to other dogs like Fiona, who are just all just very
Yeah.
I would say if our dogs were horses, then Fiona would be a cold-blooded Roman
Yeah.
type draft, Belgian draft, whereas Christmas would be the thoroughbred Rita, who's just ready to go.
Yeah.
And in the dog world, I don't think that people would ever argue or complain or even have to do anything. And I'm just so shocked that in the horse community, people are really
Wait
having
a minute. You're shocked that the horse community has opinions and that they are vocal with them? Because I'm not. I'm just like, listen, this is my horse. This is, this is this and this is that, and I'm here doing the dang best that I can. And guess what? Nobody else is getting up at 2 a.m. to go check their horse's ears and see how cold they are. Nobody else is out there. Trust me, they're not. Even if they have a thoroughbred of their own or they have other things, I genuinely do not believe that many people are out there sitting with their horses during the middle of a storm or singing to their horses in their times of stress during times of fireworks in the past. Like, you know what? We're doing the best we can.
I'm having to look something up over here real fast. I'm curious about something. I'm typing into Google, how many times have the Bills played the Chiefs in AFC Championship? Because that right there is also
This is Coke Zero, by the way. I'm not drinking.
I can't type in the right word, but something else, and we're moving back to football. Someone says 10 times. It feels like every darn year it's the Bills playing the Chiefs to decide who will go to the Super Bowl. And so a little while ago, I feel embarrassed when I said I think America's getting tired of the same old, same old, same old. And if lo and behold, the same thing that we've watched so many times before, the Bills are playing the Chiefs again to figure out who's going to go to the Super Bowl. So even though I'm going for the Bills just because of Josh Allen, I feel like even that is a little bit of a repeat that we've already seen this play. We've already seen this movie a few times before. Gosh, I hope it turns out different this time. I'll leave it alone now. Game's over. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Something interesting, and there was a very neat stat that goes talking about football is that Trent Dilfer, who was the quarterback for the Ravens, he won the Super Bowl at the age of 28. And then you had Joe Flacco, who also played for the Ravens. 12 years later, he won a Super Bowl for the Ravens at the age of 28. Here we are 12 years later, and the Ravens, who just lost, though, had a quarterback in Lamar Jackson who would have also been 28. Wouldn't that have been a crazy stat if they had won and that had come to fruition?
I guess. I'm reading comments.
You don't give a darn. You don't give a darn.
I was reading comments.
There are sometimes things, we all know that LE can be a little bit crazy on the stats, and he knows stats after stat after stat, and I feel a little bit LE-ish right now. Yes, the game is over, friends. The game is over, but the Josh Allen story lives on inside of me. Someone says, Lester, please talk to Jenny about football after the live is over. Remember that.
If I have to go through this, y'all got to go through this, okay? You're saving, like, the people that are interacting with Lester that are football people, by all means, football away. No. It is like the Charlie Brown teacher. Oh,
no.
I'm sorry. I just don't. I have a distraction of other people talking to me over here, and I'm smiling and laughing because I didn't make a joke. I made a very serious, I'm like, it's Coke Zero, don't get onto me type of thing. And people were like, I'm going to pour some rum in your drink, and I'm going to do this, and you can drink if you want to. And
Yeah. Now, I think that sometimes people forget what a live video is. It's actually having a conversation with people that you know, that friends and families of yours, as far as our social media family goes. And in a conversation, I doubt that anyone would try to shut me up if we were having dinner somewhere, or if we were having a drink, or if we were at a cocktail party. You know, you
They
hang
would
out.
excuse themselves and go to the bathroom.
Well, then maybe they should. Maybe all the people who are screaming and hollering and yelling should just take a little restroom break. And you don't have to let people walk to the restroom, just go to the restroom. But that's the beauty of a live video compared to a recorded video. And I would love to know how you feel about this, because you don't do near as many lives as some creators do. You
Yeah.
do, however, you do more than other creators do. And so, how do you feel compared to doing a live? Is it only because of your work schedule where you really can't? Is it more because of the internet signal that you don't get? Or is it a fact that you'd rather have kind of a structure to a video that you don't get when you're live? You just kind of like, well, I'm live. What are we going to do with ourselves for the next 35, 45?
No, so a lot of it is I'm working. And then when I'm done working, there's very minimal daylight hours to get the jobs that I need done accomplished. In addition to keeping up with a household and businesses, and to make my videos for the next day. Now, I record most of my videos on the weekends and then edit them throughout the week to be able to play the next day. But it's still like my time is, believe it or not, very structured and sparingly available for anything else. And when you combine that with no internet signal except for right here inside the house, I could go live if I was multitasking. Like if I was out in the pasture and I had a signal, I could go live while I'm, cleaning out stalls and talk to people and all of those things. But I don't have that capability here. So to sit down and dedicate time to that is taking away from something else. And that is where it gets hard. And I do a lot of my projects on the weekends, and that's a lot of what I video. Now, don't get me wrong. There's other things that happen throughout the week that will be videoed and brought to life. But with 2 properties to maintain, I'm doing a lot of things here myself, and I'm fighting the daylight hours most of the time and fighting time. And it is hard to squeeze in more lives. Now, sometimes, like this Friday night, I get inside and it's 8:00 and everything is mostly done and I don't have to work the next day. So I'm like, I'll go live and do one of my real lives or things like that. But I can't go live during the day while I work. And then I'm, being a partner and everything to animals.
I laugh. Look how sweet Peggy has said sports, politics, and religion should not be talked about on a live. So I guess we can talk sex these days, right?
No,
Because,
stop.
well, I know, but remember, it used to be sex, politics, and religion. Now Peggy has added the sports and taken off the other one. Peggy, you don't know us very well at all. We will talk anything and everything. But that was funny. Everyone knows there are certain things that are hard to talk about because there's not a whole lot of room to disagree. But I also feel like on a channel where you know that the creator is being very filtered in what they can and cannot say, it makes me question you as an audience. Is that the kind of depth of a friendship that you prefer to have with people, where you only get what they're not scared to talk about? Because ultimately, I think it really does matter how much somebody is willing to be themselves and talk about things that some others would not. Now, I know, Jamie, that you have a job, so you have to also be very politically correct because of your job. But I'm blessed in the fact that I don't have to do that anymore. And that's one thing that I do not miss about working, in the fact that I'm able to talk about anything and everything. And it's very therapeutic to be able to. Now, the moderators on the channel may hate it. They probably do hate it. The fact that they're having to always go by and try to remind people that, hey, it's an opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion and stuff like that. But
from my standpoint, though, even though it's like, I know that you enjoy like that is for you, like it's therapeutic, but for me, like most of that is irrelevant in my day to I don't.
Now hold on, you're talking to me now, so don't even say for a minute that things that you and I talk about you don't mind saying those exact same things here on the chat.
No, I'm saying that they're irrelevant in me putting out there any of those things, because most of the time I want to be in my greenhouse, or I want to be with horses, or I want to be doing stuff with dogs, or I want to go to antique stores, and the rest of those pieces of me are not like, they're not things that I feel that are relevant to conversation for me.
Well, like I said, you're telling me that, and I'm the one who sits and listens to all of the conversations.
Hold on, you listen to conspiracy theories. That's a whole other ball game of going down, and I'll talk about those all day long. All
I'm trying to suggest is that anybody that spends their time, and that's the one thing that we take from people that they can never get back, is their time, right? They can never get their time back. And if we ask people to give us their time, then I would think that what they would want is that time is spent in a valuable way. It's not lost. And in saying so, why would you want someone to be shallow enough to know that I'm only allowed to talk about X, Y, and Z? I'm not allowed to talk about A, B, or C, because that might be offensive to some people. It just seems like
it's shallow. I don't think that's shallow, because I feel like I've gotten into the depths of my soul in conversation, and none of it was anything to do with those topics. And I feel like to a lot of people, I mean, I'll be candid. I spent 38 years not voting, not watching anything, not having any idea, not watching an election. It was irrelevant to my life. And I know that sounds really crazy, but the depths of my conversation were much different. And I think where some people do feel depth is aside from those things, is what I'm getting at. Not everybody feels depth in that.
Well, or maybe some people just prefer to talk in depth to certain folks, but not others.
Maybe.
And I don't know. I just kind of feel like we've been here for so long that I don't see folks on the channel as just those I should be worried about getting their feelings hurt if, we discuss something that they may not be on board with, like the excitement of a football game. Because ultimately you come to watch Lester and Jamie, and Lester is excited about a football game that went his way. And for there to be so much anger and frustration and hate and disdain for a guy who's excited about a football game, it makes me wonder, so are you suggesting that I should have not gone live today? I should have.
Are you asking that question, or are you asking that person that question?
I'm just asking the audience in general. And so we can take this to so many different levels, because ultimately, if you love, or if you support, or if you at least enjoy watching a certain person, and you're going to spend some of your time with them, I would think that you would be happy with their successes. You celebrate their successes with them instead of trying to shun them or bash them into feeling bad that how dare you waste my time being excited about a football game, or I don't know. Anyway, no, I'm not trying to necessarily bring up anything controversial. I'm just saying that I just kind of wish that you and I have both said that in this new year, we're going to try to change the culture of the page, and we can't change what goes on inside everyone's homes, but we can control the culture of our channel, and in trying to be a friendlier place, and here's the great example was the fighting and the arguing going on Rick's channel today. And there's, I think, a lot of people who love to spend time reading comments. And not everybody wants to read comments if you're reading these Facebook fights going back and forth. That's not entertaining. Well, maybe it is to some people, but I don't think that that's the kind of channel that you want to have. So as a part of the culture change, some things that we've been trying to do is allow us to talk, and then we'll do questions towards the end, right?
Yeah.
You are so out of this conversation.
I'm not out of this conversation. I'm paying attention to every single word you're saying. I just, you're right. I mean, the culture of the channel to me is the same way that I would say I would want the culture of a classroom or a conference or a workspace or even your home. The last thing that anybody wants to feel is like you're walking on eggshells whenever you come home or whenever you're at a group of friends. So, you know, like that's not inviting to be able to go to or fun to be able to attend. And we've always viewed our channel as a community of survivors. And, you know, that's where we have found, you know, each other and leaning on each other in times of just needing to be able to like try to survive life. And we really are all survivors of something. And that's always been who we are as creators, is sharing our experiences and talking and sharing animal experiences and, you know, their hardships and the adversity that they're overcoming, and allow people to relate and realize that they aren't alone in those circumstances. And getting to know us over the years, you know, some people may not love us and may not want to stick around, and it's a relationship. At the end of the day, it's a friendship. It's you know, we say it's our, you know, our social media family and friends, and it's true. And, you know, fortunately you do get to pick your friends, and you do get to decide if you want to stay or don't want to go. And some days in this social media world, you get versions of each other that you may not love, you may not like, you may love, you know, like it just goes all over the place. And the beautiful thing is that not every day is the same either. And every single day we have different things that we record, and, you know, different things that we're going live about or just chatting about, and people can make choices, and it's okay if it's not us. It's okay.
Does it bother you whenever you're watching one of your creators and you find out something about them that you did not know before? So would rather them have not said anything so you can go on loving them the way that you think they are? Or do you appreciate the fact that you really get to know them in and out? So let's just take the Katie or the any of the creators that you will watch and that you admire. Have you found yourself ever wishing you had not learned something?
No, because I know. So I think that I'm not trying to be braggart or boastful, but there's a lot of my past that has chapters that I don't want to read out loud, that I don't want to talk about, that I don't want to relive, that I'm, you know, decisions in life that I'm not proud of. And when I find creators that I love, there's really nothing that would make me judge them as a human being, because I'm looking at them as creators. I'm not looking at them as the person that I want to sit next to, or that, you know, that type of thing. So it's probably not a fair observation for me to say that, because I don't care what they do offline. I don't care what their viewpoints are.
I disagree. Let's take, for example, the fathering autism fella. You and I both loved him for a very long time, and we were so flattered to know that he would put on our videos to show his autistic, was it son or daughter?
Daughter.
Okay, his autistic daughter, and so that made you and I really, really like him even more, to know that for some reason he's sticking on our videos to let his daughter watch. That was flattering. But then the big news came out, and I'm maybe I probably should not announce the big news, but when the big news came out about him and we learned things about him, I think that you and I both changed our opinions, and I think that we wished we would have never learned what we discovered. And so and then let's take somebody else too. Let's take the lady, and you're gonna have to help me with her name because I forgot. Gosh darn it. The Jenkins lady, right? The Jenkins. So we know that she's overcome addictions, and we love her for her struggles and her challenges. We love her, the fact that she strives. But then sometimes when she gets into the moods and she disappears for so much time, we feel abandoned. We feel like I feel abandoned. And I'm like, gosh darn it, you have hooked me in. You have taught me that I can overcome. You have taught me. So why the hell are you going to run off and leave for 3 or 4 months? And that makes me mad. It makes me mad at them. Is that wrong?
I see that. I don't look at it that way though. I look at it as like that person needed some self-care and they're taking it. And I have ultimate respect for the courage to do that. And like, I put myself in their shoes and like, obviously there's something bigger going on and it is what it is, but I don't know. I guess I look at the human side of that and just think differently.
Oh, well, maybe I'm just so heavily invested in these creators. I should probably not be so, I should not be so invested.
I'm better at giving grace than you are. I will say that. Like, I'll take that ownership. I'm way more of like, I'm not the person that's gonna go leave a comment or feel that my opinion needs to be heard in situations. And I think you're more of you're gonna say it. I'll just hold it in and just let it fly by, and you're gonna say it.
Remember how bothered I was when I found out that the dancer, I won't say any names, but when I found out that the dancer, I loved to watch the dancing. You guys know I love to watch dancing. And when I found out the dancer had ties to a cult and she allowed herself to fall into the cult, and the cult taking all of her money and making her, brainwashing her not to talk to her family, it devastated me. It made me no longer appreciate her dancing. What's wrong with me, Jamie? I'm a sicko. I'm a sicko like some of the other people around here.
It's weird because like you do like take that so personal. Like it was something that was done to you and it had nothing. That person doesn't even know you or have any idea that it exists, but you take it so personal, like it was an attack on you. And that girl was just doing her thing. Okay.
I just now realized something. I don't belong on social media. I've been doing this for how many years? I do not belong here at all. I don't belong here, y'all. I don't belong here at all. Anyway, let's get to that part of our video where we answer the questions. It's been an hour. You okay with that?
I'm okay.
All right. Well, you got better eyes than I got. Guys, if you want to ask a question, now's a really good time to do so. I want to thank you for allowing us to talk a little bit with each other because Jamie and I are apart. I know that you'd rather see us right there side by side, her grabbing my leg, her hushing me up. But that's not the way every live is going to be able to be. So
Miss Kathy wants to know if I've ever heard of putting salt water in a jug with a tight lid to keep the water from freezing. So Miss Kathy, I have. That jug floats through the ice and animals are able to push that down to be able to keep a freeze spot open. We should not have that long of freezes here to have that circumstance. And all of our water troughs here have water heaters put into them as well. Now, Lester didn't know that yet, but I did that this afternoon.
Okay.
So I have heard of it, but I've not tried it. I've also heard of people doing beet juice in their water to keep it from freezing.
So we will not be riding Rome. Jamie's goal right now with Rome is to try to get him to where we can put a halter on him when we need to. But let's not forget that Rome is retired, guys. He's lived a very long and hard life. And if there's anything that's going to, stress him out, we're going to try to avoid that. Now, some things we have to do. We have to have farriers come out. We have to have occasional vet care. We have to have teeth floated. And so there are times that we have to have Rome put into a halter. So we're going to continue trying to work on that and establishing trust enough where he'll let us do that. Jamie's had a whole lot more success than what I have. But as far as us and our, Jamie or neither one of us have a desire to go out there and get on Rome to prove to what we don't need to prove that to ourselves. Instead, if we feel like that's going to put Rome into a stressful situation and make him to where he's not being as comfortable as what we want his retirement to be, then we're not going to do that. And you okay with that answer, Jamie? You feel
That's
the same way?
That's
okay.
correct.
All right.
No, if he magically comes up and steps next to the steps, like this is what he's been doing his whole dang life and wants to do it, yes, but that's probably not real. Somebody wants to know, hold on a second here. I just missed it.
We don't know why Starla and Ernie were fighting. Jamie and I were both equally shocked by that. And as a matter of fact, an interesting point, Jamie says, don't show it. And I says, I don't need to show it, but I'm curious about it. And we thought that maybe some of you guys may have an answer of why. Because don't forget, that was Starla. Starla's not an aggressive she's not aggressive. So Jamie and I were both equally baffled by why would Starla jump on Ernie? And then once Ernie let her go, Starla came back again, like, come on, Ernie. And
it was wild.
It made me think, Jamie, that maybe Starla could sense that he was sick.
I was wondering if it was from days at the sanctuary whenever they were together in Plum Grove, did something happen there? And she was like, oh my God, it's you. Like, I don't know. Because Starla was there with them.
Yes, she certainly was. Yeah, many times. Starla has made trips back and forth. I don't know. You know how sometimes an animal can sense things? And I just thought that maybe Starla saw Ernie and like, wait a minute, you're sick. You're sickly. You should not be around us because we don't want to get your sickness. And it sounds mean, but I thought could
Animals
Starla
do that? Yeah. Animals can sense that.
So that was the only thing, and that is exactly why I went ahead and included it in the video, asking you all if y'all thought that was possible. It's not because I'm trying to show you a knockdown drag out between a goat and an alpaca, but Jamie and I were both equally shocked at Starla going after Ernie, and it was not the other way around. It was Starla, sweet Starla, going after Ernie. All right, your turn, love.
Okay, so there's a couple things that I'm going to fire off some questions. Sherry says, do you even own snow shovels? Sure don't. They don't even sell them here, actually. But we have grain shovels, which are flat and a little bit shorter in the handle. And hopefully we don't have to shovel very much. And then somebody wants to know, a lot of people want to know, where are the dogs? Who do you have with you, Lester?
Well, let me just take you in there and show you, Jamie. We're going on a little field trip up the steps.
Those are Lester's companions for the week. And Barnadette and the black kitty, who doesn't have a name yet, I don't think, are out in the little tool shed feed room in the red barn, and they have hay to snuggle up in. And then somebody wants to know, Lester, do you have food in the RV for the week?
Oh, Jamie did. She made a Walmart order and it arrived yesterday, and I have all of my favorite things. I'm good on food.
And I made a big lunch today, huge lunch today, and he had leftovers to go home with.
Yes, absolutely. Kathy says, why didn't you remove Rita from the area where you were trying to put the halter on Roman the last time? So she did, Miss Kathy. I don't know exactly which video. But
I haven't posted anything about that yet.
Okay. But just so you know, Miss Kathy, Jamie is very aware of the fact that Roman does better when Rita's not all up in his beeswax.
But so, I want to work through that as part of my thing. Like, I want him to be able to be haltered and everything whenever she's there as well. Like, that is one of my goals, to work through that scenario. So
Diana says, or she asked, did Rick tell you how to get Rita to go forward? So Miss Diana, Rick and a whole lot of other folks were correct in what they said or suggested, that it should start with groundwork. So Jamie can talk more about this maybe, but you don't just jump on the back of a horse and say, go. You don't just jump on a horse and, kick it in the sides. You have to learn, and I have to learn. I'll take ownership. I have to learn to be more vocal, but not in my typical, Rita, you need to go, Rita, hush it, Roman. I don't mean that, but certain commands. And so Rita needs to learn that when I make a certain noise, then that means a certain thing to do. Excuse me. Talk more about that, Jamie, if you don't mind.
There's certain noises in the horse world that are universal. So the kissing noise, the clicking noise, the word whoa, are all very universal. Now I'm gonna yawn, and everybody's gonna catch it. I'm not gonna do it. But Rita has a lot to learn in that space, in addition to her manners and the things that we've been working on so much in the past several months. So it is definitely a work in progress, and she's doing incredibly well.
And then this was something that, once again, people were arguing about on Rick's Live. Are you thinking about rehoming Carl? We're not going to rehome Rita or Carl. Jamie, there was the biggest arguments about Rita needing to go to a new home and Carl. And so sometimes I joke with Rick. I'm like, hey, you want me to send Carl up there for a week? In a joking way. But no, Carl is not going anywhere. Carl is one of our rescues. He's our first big bird ostrich rescue, and he'll be staying with us forever. And Rita is never going anywhere. Rita, we love her. Now we have, Jamie can name more than I have, but there have been a few animals that have had to rehome for different reasons. Usually if it comes to a personal safety or the animal's best life, they're not living their best life, we will have to sometimes rehome. But no, Carl is doing fine. Jamie and I have both learned to work around Carl and his aggressions, his anger issues, and we love him. Funny story is I was telling Jamie just recently that if we ever get a chance to do more building here and spending more time here at the North Ranch property, where I would like to put Carl, and she absolutely shut me down in a heartbeat. And she said, no. So I'm not even going to discuss that with everybody because Jamie's already said no, it's not going to happen. And so happy wife, happy life. I will not be.
Hold on. I don't put my foot down about very much. I don't have like strong opinions about very much, but I'll just tell him. He wanted to take away the central courtyard at the jail north and give that to Carl. The tree, my grove of trees where my swing is, where I have future plans of a patio with beautiful gardens and koi pond, like all those things are still in my future. Carl in that area is not in the future, not in that area.
I was thinking about Carl's best interest, not Jamie's, okay? With her koi pond and her swing.
Carl's doing so great here. So great here. He loves to pace the fences. He loves it so much.
All right. Well,
Francis wants to know, do you have enough creamer to survive this storm? We all know that that's super important.
I think that everyone can look behind me and see all 3 boxes of creamers. And not to worry, Jamie, you don't know this, but if in desperate times, I will go to the little local shop down the road. What do they call that place? The bodega. And those folks are nice to me, and she'll say, we don't sell creamers, but you grab all those that you want. And so I will just grab me a handful, and out the door I go.
I bought you in the Walmart order. You have an entire, basically half gallon of creamer to be able to
yes,
get you through.
Yes, I think I'll be fine with creamers.
That's so funny. I'm going to do like 2 more. Let me look here real quick.
Well, I'll start pulling up my song for us to sing as we leave, Jamie.
I don't want to sing.
Jamie, you and I are really good at this.
How's Hank? Does he go outside in this cold? He did not want to today. I opened the door and I was going to let him because I probably won't for the rest of the week. And he kind of looked around and was like, nah. The cat that I'm hoping I can convince to come in is actually Eclipse because she keeps wanting to be out on the tractor seat, and I just want her to snuggle with me tonight. So I've tried to convince all the cats to come in because I only have 4 dogs. All 4 dogs are inside already. And I was out there calling cats and seeing who would come in. And to be honest with you, they're probably all snuggled up in my greenhouse right now. Lester, don't do that.
Okay. Well, look how big we are now.
Why are we so big?
I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm a little bit windburnt already. Can you see how windburnt I am?
I'm gonna back up.
You want me to make it smaller for you? You like that better?
Yeah. Don't play that, Lester.
Jamie, I want to sing to everybody.
Stop it.
Gosh darn it. You ain't gonna let me sing? Where are you? Where'd you go?
I guess I got kicked off.
I'm not going to kick you off. So, anywho. All right. Well, listen, we want to say thank you all for those who took the time to watch our live. We are blessed. We've already said it once tonight, but it's so very true that you give us something that you'll never get back in the fact of, offering us your time. We hope in return that we give you some kind of enjoyment, something that can be entertaining, something to make you laugh or smile or feel. Jamie, sometimes you just want people to feel. Yeah. And we feel, and we like it when you can feel with us. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I've always said that from the beginning. Like, I think that the things that social media has done for a lot of us is, obviously occupying time. And I hate to bring up TikTok, but TikTok was down for 12 hours and there were people like, now what do? We have to go outside and like touch the earth and I don't know, do our laundry and do real things because TikTok was down. But TikTok has been a space filler, an occupier, a engagement place. And I feel like for me personally, the way that I connect and create is through feelings. And that's where, I think that we've been able to do so with animals, and that people want to feel, because it doesn't matter which angle, maybe it is anger, maybe it is sadness, maybe it is happiness, maybe it is love, but we want to feel, and we've lost that over time to be able to do that in connecting with people face to face because we're all so buried right here. So I think that feeling is important.
TikTok. I blame TikTok.
It's all good.
I know. So
I can tell you what I am not looking forward to feeling this week, though, is cold. And I know that the rest of the country is not looking forward to that either. From my standpoint, I hope that y'all stay safe and stay well and do your very best to stay warm. Check on neighbors and check on people that you know that are cooped up inside and could probably just have a hankering for connection and to also feel.
Absolutely. All right, Jamie Cakes. So I will let you go now. Thank you for jumping on and joining me. What's your plans? Have you already had a bath?
I have not. I still got to build my video for tomorrow, and I want to sweep the floor and just go back and check on my fire out in the greenhouse and go check on all the animals. I'm going to go touch everybody's ears and see how they're doing and go from there.
All right.
You're kicking me off so you can sing, aren't you?
I am.
Okay. I love y'all so much.
If you need anything, just let me know. Make sure you call 3 times so it goes right past the block and do not disturb. Okay. Sure you don't want to stick around?
Oh my God. Good night, y'all. Kick me off. I'm done. I'm cooked.
You're cooked. Night, babe. Love you.
Good night. I love you.
Y'all join me. Better stick with me. Friends, I'll play it clear. I'll take my case. I'm searching. Come on, y'all. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled every highway and more. It is my way. Fine, I'll stop. Okay, fine. But I'm not going to let you get out of this one over here. Right here. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so very much. We love you, and we're so very blessed to have you. Okay, let's back up. Back. Easy, right there. Whoa. Shirley, take it back! Shirley!